Hey, what's going on, Driving Dollars peeps? Man, I am on a walk while at work, and I was doing some some research on Planet, PLNH, one of the weed stocks that I was previously invested in. I sold actually all my shares at like $1.28, or not $1.28, 28 cents like a few weeks ago, just because I just was getting kind of sleepy on the stock. Regardless, anyway, I was looking at the numbers for it because it was like 50 cents, like 47 cents. Like yesterday or 2 days ago, and then earnings came out. They were absolutely horrid, and so they dropped down like 30+% today, down to the high 20 cents from 50 cents. So massive drop, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, so I looked into the earnings report itself. Oh my god, horrid story. Revenue year over year dropped 13.6%. So that's negative growth, negative decay. Or that's a decay of 13.6%. Went from around $31 million of total revenue down to like 26. Absolutely terrible. Their profitability also tanked. So not only did the revenue go down, but the profitability went from like negative $4 million to now their net income is like negative $13.1 million. So every place, like margins dropped by a considerable amount. So I mean, and it's insane because they just spent like the last year expanding a bunch of different branches in Florida, among other places, I think in Arizona as well. And that's just terrible. You spend all of this capital, all of this capex spending in opening branches, you know, of course, to expand revenue. Even if your expenses go up, like at least revenue will go up alongside, right? Well, even though they spent all of those millions of dollars to open those branches, they still ended up dropping in revenue. So now you have all of these extra branches all making less money. So something's going on with Planet, and like we all saw that big spike and everything, everyone was getting excited. And I was just telling Lily this when we were driving last night, because she had some weed stocks from a few years ago, and she was like, oh, like once the laws pass with weed, like it's gonna go up. That's exactly what happened with Planet, along with all the other weed stocks the last few days, is that they announced that they may be reclassifying marijuana, and so all of the heat was coming up on the weed market, and look what happened. It went up, and then it went right back down where it was, in terms of at least Planet Hollywood, right? Or Planet 13, not Planet Hollywood, Planet 13 stock. And that just goes to show, it reiterates the lesson. Fundamentals. Stop, do not trade stocks. This is not financial advice, but I'm saying it to me, and I'm saying it to Lily, and you guys can take the advice if you want to, but it's not professional financial advice. Do not trade on macroeconomic news alone. It's all about the fundamentals. Is the company good? Are they making money? What are they doing to improve revenue, margin, year over year growth? What's their valuation? Even though, since Planet is a negative revenue, negative net income stock, they don't have a valuation yet. Dude, that is not how you trade. You do not trade on news, on what is said on the TV. At least not alone, right? You can take it into consideration, but like you gotta go into the company, the fundamentals of the company, or else you're gonna get burned. I wonder how many people bought Planet at 40 cents, 50 cents over the last few days because of the news of the reclassification of marijuana, and now they have no, and then they did that just because, oh, it's a weed stock, it's going to do great with all the news right now, not looking into what the company's doing or how their balance sheet is, or not knowing that their cash reserves dropped by like 30%, that their year over year revenue dropped by 13%, their margins got worse despite all the capex spending, opening these branches in other states. Like, and then what happened to those people who are just retrading? And by retrading, I mean, you guys figure out what re stands for, but just trading without doing due diligence. This is what happens at the end of every video. I always say, do your due diligence, empower yourself to make more, educate yourself. Those three things are what you need to do when you invest. You don't just say, weed's gonna do good, let me just blindly buy some weed stocks. Like, oh my God. So I feel bad for all those people who bought weed stocks, specifically Planet, at 50 cents, and then now they're looking at a 30% drop the day after or 2 days after. Like it's sad, man, and like people get discouraged. And these are the same people that say, oh, I'm not gonna gamble on the stock market anymore, but that's gambling. It's only gambling when you don't do your due diligence and you don't educate yourself. But anyway, yeah, let this be a lesson to you guys, whether you're one of the ones who committed the mistake, or just one of the people who is observing this from a third person point of view. Like, don't be one of those guys. Don't be a dumb trader. Anyway, it's a little lesson from me, and like I said, not financial advice, but you take it if you want to. Otherwise, guys, enjoy the rest of the video. I hate to be so negative, but you know, some people really need to hear this stuff, and all I want is for a lot of the people, especially the community that we can start building here on Driving Dollars at almost 200 subscribers. Like, I want everyone to do their due diligence and educate themselves, do the work, and actually understand what they're looking at, actually understand what they're giving their money to, because this is your money, it's your time, it's your effort. Like, dude, do something good with it. Like make sure you know what you're putting your money into. That's it. Protect yourself, guys. We're doing this to make money, not to gamble. If you're putting it on a weed stock or whatever stock because you think it's gonna go up, even though you don't know anything that's going on financial and fundamental wise in the company, you're just putting it all on red and spinning the roulette wheel, right? Don't do that. Bad boy, bad girl. Don't do that. No roulette. Invest, no gamble. Bye-bye. Okay, so I wanted to add the whole other side to this whole planet situation, right? So right now, the stock is absolutely beating the hell down. If you look at like a 1 year, 2 year stock chart, that thing is just absolutely hammered down. And with this new earnings report that we just kind of covered real quick, I mean, it just got worse. The story went from a crappy story to an absolute just shit story, right? And so with stocks, you don't make money. You don't only make money in stocks when the company is just absolutely great and it's awesome and the margins are great, all that stuff. You make money from stories getting better in the stock market. So you'll make money from a stock that's great and then it becomes greater. But you have to keep in mind, you also make money from stocks when a stock goes from shitty to less shitty. And so right now there's downward momentum in Planet 13 because the story in the company is just absolutely horrid. So once that goes from absolutely horrid to less horrid, you're gonna see some quick recovery out of the hole that they're in right now. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's not all negative. Sorry, there's a truck behind me. So it's not all negative, right? You just gotta see if there's gonna be any positive turns in the company. And if they start fixing that net loss from double-digit millions, like right now 13 million, and let's get back to the single-digit millions, stock price will reflect, right? If the net income, the net margin gets better, it'll reflect. Revenue year-over-year growth gets better, it will reflect up. And so just keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, always do your due diligence. As always, I'm gonna say it again, do your due diligence, empower yourself to make more, and as always, let's make this money.